Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Eureka Archery. And for today, I have a very special guest with us, Mr. Sithar, a traditional Bhutanese bow and arrow maker. So, Mr. Sithar, how are you today?
Hello, hi, I'm Sithar Bachelor from Bhutan. So I'm doing good so far.
That's good, that's good. Well, since most of us here in Malaysia is in lockdown, we are not able to go out to shoot. So, how is the situation there in Bhutan?
So the COVID, it's normal because our government is working so hard. The borders all sealed, and now
Mr. Sithar, are you still there? We may be experiencing some technical issues here, so let's give it a few moments for Mr. Sithar to come back online. I think there must be.
which means 11 players on the ground.
I see. Your video was cut short a little bit just now. Perhaps you can.
Yes, I received one call from.
I see. I see. Okay. Okay. So currently everything in Bhutan is normal now. So you all the archers are able to go to the range and shoot.
Yes, recently the government has announced us to conduct the tournament, and we are allowed to play games as normal as before now.
Nice.
So we are very happy, and the archers are very happy to be on the ground and to celebrate their usual archery match.
I see, I see. That must be very, very exciting because over here we have not been shooting for many, many months. It's very frustrating. So I really hope the Malaysian government can take a little bit from the Bhutanese efforts in ensuring that the pandemic is under control. Perhaps a lot of us can learn from the, well, I would say, the achievement of the Bhutanese government.
Yes, exactly. Our government is doing so hard, and especially like our king is working so hard. He's leaving his palace almost a month, and then going around the borders, and then connecting the people, and then talking with the border people, and then now the COVID situation is totally brought into control because like a border area has been sealed, and now the COVID cases here in Bhutan is now almost normal. So we don't have even a single case now.
Wow.
So we are able to play now archery, not only archery, football, and then even the karaoke's night comedies are all been open now here.
Wow.
So now the situation is very normal. So we are lucky to born here in Bhutan because our king is working so hard. Not only king and our governments, they are taking so working so hard to bring the COVID into normal.
I see. I really envy the Bhutanese archers now because everything seems to be very well under control. So perhaps for tonight, the topic of discussion that we're going to talk about tonight is four main things. We'll be talking about the Bhutanese bow. I actually have one of the bows that I bought from you while I was in Bhutan. So this can also be a kind of visual reference that we can talk about. As well as the Bhutanese arrow. Of course, again, I got it from you.
Yes.
And the Bhutanese target, unfortunately, I didn't buy one. I couldn't find one.
It's so heavy.
It's heavy, yeah, but as part of an archer's collection. Because as you know, most archers globally, shooting is of course their passion, but their secondary passion is collecting bows and arrows.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, we will be talking about the Bhutanese archery culture. Because while I was there in Bhutan, I find it very interesting that you are shooting at a very far target, then you will have two teams, and then you will move from one target to the other. It's a very interesting, I would say, practice.
Yes. So I'll just brief little bit on our archery. Like in Bhutan, 1971, our national game is declared as archery. when Bhutan joined the United Nations as a member. So our archer range is like 145 meter. That is highest range, and the lowest is 140 meters.
Wow.
Yes, and then the size of our target is 46 inches and 14 inches breadth.
46
So you have
inches?
to, yes, 46 inches long, and then 14 inches breadth. So
So
you have to imagine how the big target is when you look from 140 meters.
you almost can't see it. It's very, very small, you know, such a small target. And
Yes, exactly, yeah, it's very small.
I see, I
And
see.
then for Buddhist archers, they going to shoot from 140 meters. That is low range. And then no one archers, they shoot below 140 meters.
Wow. And in this sense, right? 145 meters for us in Malaysia, that sounds almost impossible. That's really far.
Yeah, exactly.
Number one, we don't have the space for that kind of range. Most archery ranges are quite short, like 20 meters, 80 meters standard. But when I first heard that it's 145 meters and the target is like a skateboard, I'm saying it's the size of a skateboard. I
Yeah.
can't even see the target. I'm just imagining where it is.
Lots of the archers, they shared me. They even could see the target also. How can they shoot on the bullseyes?
Yes, exactly. I miss all my arrows. Okay. So perhaps maybe for a better understanding, we have a few of our viewers here. And let's there I have a nice picture of you doing this. And I noticed a few very distinctive things. You're using the three fingers, and
Yes, three fingers,
you
yes.
have some leather guard on your fingers. How many pounds is this bow that you're pulling?
Normally, like Bhutanese, they use more than 60 poundage because it's the range is 145 meters. They have to shoot from very far, so they use 140. But it depends on the people's strength. If he is very weak, he can use lesser poundage, but not less than 40 poundage.
Ah, okay. And you
Yes.
personally, how
And
many
then,
pounds do you use to shoot?
my bow is more than 60 poundage.
Wow.
But according to that, we have to manage the weight of the arrow also. If you use uh, maybe 18 grams above, then you cannot shoot with 40 poundage bow because it's
Mm,
very far.
I see.
So it should, yeah, yes. According to your poundage, you have to manage your arrow also. So
Ah,
my arrow is less than 17 gram, and then my bow poundage is more than 60.
wow. And with that, there's quite a scientific approach here because you have to balance the arrow weight and the bow poundage, you see. And you're shooting quite light arrows with 60 pounds,
Yes,
17 grains. It's very light.
yes, very light. So
Mm-mm-mm.
yes, like our archer range is 145 meter. So we have to make the range. We have to manage with our bows and arrows. If you use the arrow with heavy weight, you cannot reach with lesser poundage of bow.
I see.
That's we have to coordinate. Maybe some people what they do is they use lesser poundage of bow. They use heavy arrows, but the flight goes from the sky. That's how they manage.
So there are various techniques involved as well.
Yes, sure, sir.
Okay, I have a question here from Sarai Wolf Gacha Life. How much grain the arrow for 145 meter? Is it 70 grain or 70 grams? The arrow weight.
17 grams.
1 7.
Yes, 1 7.
So Sarai Wolf is 17 grams. 17 grams. So I will just write here. All right. So
Yeah,
um
but the one question is like, if you use more than 80 poundage, then you can go for maybe like 25 gram also.
I see. I
It's
see.
depend on the poundage of your bows.
I see. Okay. So before we go into the technicalities of it, because I know this is a very interesting question, uh, here I have a picture of you. This is from ICHCAP. They have a video of you making bows on YouTube. So here is a screenshot of it. So here I see you inspecting a bamboo. So perhaps you can share with us. What kind of bamboo is this?
Actually, we have lots of bamboo species in Bhutan, but we have the very special bamboo that we get from the southern parts of Bhutan.
Mm-hmm.
We have lots of bamboo, but that bamboo doesn't make the other bamboo is not good for making bows because it doesn't give like curving. For example, some bamboos, if you make bows, it get break. But where is the bamboo one which we get from the southern part of Bhutan? It's very good for making bows because it give like a tension. We call it tension. No, when you pull the bows, it curves more.
Mm.
That's the difference. But other bamboos, if you make a bows, it damages.
It breaks.
So yes, yeah, it breaks also, and then it doesn't have that strong to push 145 meters.
I see. And I noticed the bamboo is quite thick.
Yes, we have the thicker one. So we have to take out the inner part to have a good bows. We
Ah.
when we select the bamboo, we usually go for thicker one. So we take out the inner one and then maybe like covered. That gives the more like span.
Ah, okay. And how would you treat this bamboo? Is it like air dry or is it heated? What do you do to treat the bamboo from raw?
In the ancient time, like they dry in the fires, whereas now in the modern we use gas to dry up, and even we use heaters, rod heaters to dry up. Maybe like we have to keep for a year to dry that bamboo. And then
Mm.
I just want to share that in Bhutanese bow, we never use the modern technologies as such. It's just a raw bamboo shaped into two pieces and then joined together. That's how like Bhutanese they use these bows.
Mm. So here I see you have already have two separate staves, and there is a certain length that you would cut this bamboo. If I'm not mistaken, it's about 37-inch on each side.
Uh, I didn't get your pardon. Can you repeat it once again?
What I mean was, you have here two separate pieces. You mentioned earlier that it
Yes,
is two separate pieces. So one piece, how long is that?
it's almost like 45 to 46 inches. It's the bow depends on your height. If your
Ah,
height is lower, then I have to measure your height and then make it. If you are shorter, I have to make it shorter bows. That's how
ah,
we manage to make the bows of Bhutanese bows.
ah. So in this sense, the discussion here is you won't necessarily, I would say, measure the bow based on poundage, but you would measure it
No,
based on the body of the archer.
yes, yes, exactly. Body
Ah,
of maybe like height of your thing. If you are shorter and if you use the longer bow, it will not fit also because if you pull, it doesn't get strength uh, to shoot 140 meters. And
I see.
if you're like taller and if you have a shorter bow, it will break because it will have more span. It will curve,
Mm,
so it will break. That's how
mm.
I manage. But exactly like maybe some other bow makers, how they manage. But for my philosophy, I make the bows according to their heights.
Ah, I see, I see, I see. So, in Bhutan, what would be the most common height of an archer, and how heavy would they pull? The most common.
The most common is like 60 to 80.
Wow, and that is common.
Yes, yes, that's common. And maybe like some weaker person, they use less than 60 poundage because they cannot pull. And they also go for very light arrows, maybe like 16 gram, 14 gram, so that they can make the range. That's how we manage
Ah,
to. Yeah.
I see, I see, I see. So here are some pictures of you aligning the two staves. I think you're just making sure the bow is straight. But what is interesting for me is the bindings on the bow, where you are using a steel wire to wrap the handle. So maybe a bit on this because I'm quite curious.
Yeah, there's a very interesting story behind how I make this joining bow. We call it like joining bows. We call it joining bows. We have in the ancient time we have long bows. There's no joining in between. So this joining bow came through the hunters in the ancient times, like people they go for huntings, so it's very difficult to carry long bows in the jungle, in the deep
Mm,
forest. So what they do is they just cut from the middle and then they just fall it, and then they go for hunting. When they
nice.
reach forest, they just join together and then they shoot the prey.
Ah,
So from there, and then now this folding bow came. So now our Buddhist archers they prefer this folding bows because this folding bow has a very powerful where it can reach 145 meters. So most of the archers they prefer these folding bows. Now they like long bows, the single piece bamboo bow. They never choose because it's very difficult to reach the archer range 145 meters. That's the story behind.
So it's like a tactical approach where you can be mobile, you can fold it,
Yes.
and I think now in modern times most modern recurves are takedowns. You know, I think they may have stolen the idea from Bhutan.
Okay. But like in Bhutan, we are not allowed to use. Some countries they put a short wooden piece and then they join the bamboo stick and then they use. But in our culture, we are not allowed to use that.
Ah, okay, that's interesting. Why
We
not?
are yes, we are allowed to use only single piece bamboo bow that we call it long bow, and then there's folding bows. In
Ah,
national picnics, we are not allowed to use that bow, which we have this piece of wooden joined together in the middle one,
yep.
because
Ah,
that one is like maybe like modern one, no? So we are not
ah.
allowed to.
I see, I see, I see. But then, in that sense, like what I see in India, they have the round bow, they have the wooden riser, that's a very solid one. Then they have the bamboo, so you're not allowed to use that in the games.
We are not allowed to use that.
I see, I see. Okay, and
Government is very strict on the culture.
I mean that's good because you keep the culture alive if you do that. You know what I mean? It keeps it very original.
And it will kick out there.
I see.
Even the
Nice.
hunting bows are going on here, but the government is not giving support for the hunting bows and all. So now we are pressurizing on our culture, the ancient one, which I am making. So for your kind information, I'm the only one who is making bows and arrows in Bhutan.
Wow. So I am very lucky to have you tonight discussing this.
Yeah. If I go back to the story, maybe like 2008, when I joined a national tournament, I see only 12 teams participating in our national game.
Ah.
So that time I was serving in government service. So maybe like I decided that our culture is now vanishing. So I decided resigning from my civil servant and then started this business because I'm very much interested on making bows and arrow. Even I'm a good archer in Bhutan.
Mm,
So far, I received 16 national awards so far.
nice. Wow.
Yeah, bulls.
So that is 16, 16 and more coming.
Yes, I'm the one who is strongly believing on my culture and reviving too. So I have
Mm.
almost like now we have almost like 40, 50 team participating on our national game.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah,
Very interesting. But one thing I am I'm very interested to discuss with you is on the arrow tips. You see, on the bow
yes,
tips. I
yes,
notice
yes.
here the knot is very, very fine, and inside this picture, I see you using a very big knife to cut it. So perhaps a little bit on this part of the bow.
Yes, yes, to hook the bow string. So I just want to summarize on how I'm making bows. uh, we have different archers, like some play in the left, some play in the right.
Yes.
So when I choose the bamboos, I have to be very strict on that and selections of bamboo also.
Mm. So
Yes.
that's quite.
And
Go ahead. Sorry.
and so making of knock also it should be very small one. In the ancient time, like they make a very big one, but now like you pick up into practical, so we have to maybe like to simplify, modify.
Mm. That's that. It seems to me there's quite a lot of science involved. You see, it looks very simple. It looks very, I would say,
Yeah,
very modest bow. But there's so many things that you have to worry. Like you have to dry the bamboo, takes you about 1 year, and then you get the height of the archer, binding it to make
yes,
sure it's foldable, and then carving the very tiny knock. So all of this is based on your own interpretation as well as your own research, I would say.
sure, sir.
Ah, okay, okay. So we have some questions here on YouTube. Um,
Sure.
if my height is 5 feet 7 inches, what is the length of the Bhutanese bow?
So it will go according to your height.
I see. So if this person is
Yes,
about 5 feet 7 inches,
yes, sure, sir, sure, sir.
so how long will that bow be?
Yeah, based on your height, and then I have to make it. So that bow will last for long because if you make according to your height, the, the span of your bows will be like in a limit that it will not break. Whereas if the bow is shorter than your height, your hand's length will be longer and the bow will become more. So it will break. It's not
Ah,
wooden bows which are like made from fiber or maybe with bit of tendons and all. But our
okay.
Bhutanese bow is just raw bamboo shaped into a bow. That's a thing.
I
So it will
see.
there's a high chances of breaking. So to minimize of breaking your bows, we just make according to your height.
Ah, okay. So Sharon, so that means what Mr. Sithar here said, if we make the bow according to his height exactly, then the bow will last very long time.
Yeah, long time. Yes,
I
yes,
see.
exactly. And if you make the bow longer than your height, if you pull it, the span will be less, and then it will never throw 145 meter. It will not make a range. That's how I have an experience till now.
I see, I see, I see. Okay, so the next question would be, if you're shooting with a 60 to 80 pounds bow, but your arrow is only 17 grams, wouldn't the
Yes,
arrow
seven.
break? Will the arrow break?
Hello?
Yeah, will the arrow break because it's only 17 grams?
It will not break. It will not break. But your that rigidity of your bamboo should be strong.
Yeah, the spine of the arrow.
The spine and the rigidity that should be very strong. If it is flexible, then it will go off the target. If you
Ah.
shoot with 60 poundage bows.
Yeah. Okay. So the next thing I noticed is that you have a string making jig here, something that you make
Yes.
your string, and everything is made by hand.
Yes, sir.
And what's
When I buy the bow string, I get the roll one, which is very thin. So I circulate into 12.
12 strands?
Yeah, 12. Circulate into 12, and then I roll it, and that gives the good size where I can fix the knock.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Now, I just want to share, if your bow poundage is less, and if you have a very thick bow string, then it doesn't throw also. That also we have to. If you have a thinner bow string, then it gives a good fletching.
I see.
And then, like, if you have the more poundage, then we have to go for thicker bow string.
I see.
That's how we manage.
I
But
see.
exactly, we have not researched. But for my experience, after making maybe like 20 years making bows and arrows, that's I have my experience.
That is your trade secret, I would say. Your secret technique of identifying the best. Okay, so here I have a picture of you testing a bow. So usually,
Yes.
from the start to finish, how long does it take for you to build a bow?
If I have a dry bamboo and maybe like to make a bow, it will take almost 2 hours to finish one bow.
Wow, that's fast.
Yeah, 2 hours, 2 hours. Because we don't apply any modern technology on that. It's just we have to shape it into two pieces and then join together, and then just to balance it. We just with aluminum wire, we just fix it together, and then we just string it. And if it is balanced, then I just sand it and just make it move.
I see. I remember what.
Maybe like, yeah, I heard like maybe like Korean bows, it takes almost maybe like 2-3 months to get one bow.
More like
Whereas in Bhutan, like, I
Yeah.
can just make maybe 2 hours I can make a bow, but it doesn't last.
I see.
maybe 5 to 6 months, then it breaks.
But it's okay. It just takes 2 hours to make another one.
Yes, sir.
It's good business for you then, because every 6 months people will buy new bows.
Yes, exactly. Last time I went to Korea, and then I was just planning to make a modern bow for a Bhutanese. So I was just thinking back, maybe I'll lose my business. So I just kept
I see.
maybe like if I use modern technology, maybe like using tendons and like maybe fiberglasses, it will last almost lifelong from Bhutan. Maybe I'll lose my business, and we are losing our culture also.
I see. So in this picture here that I have shown here, this is one of the gentlemen at the archery practice range. I actually tried shooting his bow. So his bow was almost 80 pounds. And this gentleman is almost 80 years old. And I can barely pull his bow. So how long does it take for a Bhutanese archer to learn to shoot?
Now, exactly, we don't have this coaching campaign, or we don't have the masters to learn the archery. it's all depend on your interest. If you have interest, maybe like you can get equipments, and then we could go for a thing archer field, and then we practice.
Ah, I see, I see.
So now we are planning. I am planning. If the governments they want to support me, I'm just planning to maybe give coaching for our students. Not only students, like in our Bhutanese culture, like women's are not allowed to play archery. So maybe if I can give a coaching from the very childhood, maybe like women's also can participate in archery also.
Mm. I do remember back in 2019, Bhutan had the first female archer competing for the flight shooting for the IAA games. So that was a very, I would say, very positive move forward by including the female archers in the game. And for that, I think it's a very good effort.
Yes, yes, exactly, sir.
Mm, 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 mm. Right, so perhaps now there's a lot of questions on arrows, and okay, so I'll just answer these few questions. Interesting question: at 145 meters, how big is the target? So the target was actually very small. It's as big as probably a skateboard, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
It's a very small target, Mr. Sharin. So at 145 meters, the target is probably about this big, roughly, or even smaller, the size.
Yeah, sure, sir. If you watch from 145, it's very small. But if I go for from the point of size, it's 146 inches by 14 inches.
Okay,
If you measure,
so it's
you just
46
get the
inch by
46 inch by 14 inches.
14 inches. Okay. So that's the size. That is actually very, very small. So let me try to get the measuring tape here to see 14 inches. So that is 14 inches. Okay, so Sharon, if you're seeing my measuring tape where my finger is at, that is 14 inches. So it's actually very, very, very small. Okay, so Mr. Sithar, so right now is on the Bhutanese arrow. We'll just go through this. Here I have a picture of you inspecting the shafts and also using the gas torch to heat it up. So perhaps you can share with us what are you actually doing here?
So we get bamboo shafts from the forest. We just get collect bamboo shafts. We have very thousands of bamboo shafts in the forest. Different species of bamboo shafts in the forest, but we have a very special few species that we can make a bamboo for making arrows. So in the picture, what you see is like the bamboo comes in a crook shape.
Yeah.
So firstly we dry up, and then after drying, then we just sand it. After sanding, then we come to like if it is crook, then we have to heat it at the point where there is crook, and then we have to make it into straight. That's how we make. And then for the selection of the bamboo shafts, we firstly go for the rigidity. It's strong or not. If it is flexible, then we don't use this bamboo. We just reject it. And the span of the bamboo, we have to select it. And then if you want to have a pair of arrow, then we have to, firstly, we have to go for the size. And secondly, we go for the note. Some note is very long, some may be short. We have to arrange it. And then thirdly, then we have to go for the weight. If it is 17 gram, then we have to measure into 17 gram. 18 gram, we have to, like, if somebody is using 80 poundage of bows, then we will go for 21 gram to 22 grams. That's how we select and then make it.
Ah, I see, I see. So there's a lot of, I would say, sorting that you have to do.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I see, I see, I see.
To make, do all we have to do in manual one. We don't have a machine, but we have the machine that we measure grams.
I see, I see, I see. Okay. So in this sense, it is quite interesting because this type of bamboo is only available in Bhutan for the arrows.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Mm,
So
mm,
in
mm.
the Himalayan, we are in the mountain range, so we have lots of bamboo species here. So we have thousands of species of bamboos here.
And what is this species called?
Exactly, we don't have that name, but in locality, I can just name it. But
Yeah.
maybe in the English, I don't know. But we have the very special bamboo which is grown in one of the area that's called yanka.
Yanka.
Yes, yanka, the one which is very expensive, and it's very difficult to get also, because that special bamboo is grown only on a particular area where we can found that species. So if you go in the other parts of Bhutan, we don't find that species. So it's very expensive, and it's good for making arrows also.
Ah, I see, I see, I see. So it's called the Yankar bamboo?
Yes. Now people are growing as a cash crop also, and they grow
Ah,
on.
yeah, because it's very strong. You see, I have one here,
Yes.
and this is for 40 pounds, if not mistaken, but it's very stiff and very light. Okay, so perhaps over here we also have the making of the knock.
Yes. The knock maybe not long. It's very small one where
Yep.
we can hook in three fingers.
Ah, I see, I see.
Very small. Yes.
Uh, and the knot itself is actually very very small, like you mentioned. So it goes
Oh,
on the
yes.
string very. It goes on the string
Yeah.
tightly.
Our bowstring is very thin, so we have to make it very small. If the knock is bigger, and then like if maybe your string is thin and your knock is bigger, then it doesn't go to the target. It will just miss the target. We have to
Ah.
arrange it exactly so that it can go to the target where you aim.
And you're just using a knife to carve this.
Yes, yes,
Wow, that's a lot of manual work, a lot of very fine
yes.
craftsmanship. So here I have a picture of you cutting tape because what I think is very unique about the Bhutanese arrow is that these are not feathers.
Yes, these are not feathers, because we have another. We have very like story behind why we are using that plastic one.
Okay.
Actually, like in Bhutan, we use feather, a very special one. We call it monal fasten. The birds,
Ah,
maybe like I can say like national birds of Nepal.
I
If you
see.
browse on the thing, Google, you can see the monal fasten. So that monal pheasant is now marked as an endangered species in the world. So we are not allowed to use that feather. So the government has announced we are not allowed to use that monal pheasant. So we are not more using that feathers. So in to bring that in place of that, we are using now plastic. So we are using plastic now.
I
So that
see.
plastic is very light, where we can shoot 145 meters very easily.
I see. I see. And now,
Like yeah, actually, if we are using that plastic one, it's not a traditional one, but uh, government has announced we are not allowed to, because some of the people they are hunting for the feathers, so they are killing the
uh,
birds. So that monal pheasant is marked as endangered species in the world, so we are not allowed to use. So we are using plastic one.
I see. And all of this is cut by hand.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we
What?
don't have machines. We just cut it.
And it looks very, very. If I don't know whether everyone can see this, but it looks very, very machined, very, very clean. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, here is Mr. Sithar inspecting one of the arrows being made, and this is some of the close-up pictures of it. And if there's also some silk binding here, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Sithar,
Yes, sir.
this is silk.
Yes, it is silk. Why we are making it into colorful one is to beautify our knock.
I see, I see. Okay, so the final part on the arrow is the point. There's metal piece right here. So what is it made of?
Made of metal.
So this is also handmade?
Yes, yes, it's also handmade. Yeah.
I
So
see.
that it weighs 3 gram. If you go for more than 4 gram, then it will be like heavy for your arrows. So we go for 3 gram and less than 3 gram also.
I see, I see, I see. One thing I noticed before the competition, I see this gentleman. He was taking his arrow and going to the wall and start hitting it. What is he doing there?
Can you repeat again once?
I see this gentleman here. Before the tournament, he take his arrow
Yeah,
and he hits with the
okay.
rock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So what's going on
That's
there?
the reason. When he was missing his arrow from the target, so hitting on the thing rocks. So maybe like his arrow point maybe on the crook shape, so he wants to make it straight. That's the reason behind.
I see. And it is very simple. There's a wood on the wall and he just starts hitting it and okay, it's all done.
He's making his arrow point straight because he hits on the rock.
I
That's the
see.
reason.
Okay. So this is some final photos of the arrows, and it looks very very nice. I have a few here with me, and so far I've not been shooting it 145 meters because I don't have the distance to shoot it. So I'll just keep this at home, make sure that it is nice and beautiful. All right, so we've gone through to the third part, which is the Bhutanese target. But so there's another question here from our YouTube page. How do you
Yes,
make
sir.
the arrow more rigid or stiffer? Do you do any kind of treatment to the shaft?
No, that's like we have when we select the bamboo shafts, we have to check the rigidity of and the span of the bamboo shafts.
I
There's
see.
no other special treatment to make it strong.
I see. So naturally it's
We have
strong.
to, yeah, it should be naturally. Yes, exactly.
I see. Okay, understand. So the Bhutanese target. So just now we have some friends asking us about the size, about the how it looks like. So this is one of the targets that is being used in the games. And over here on the left picture is what we were shooting at during the tournament in Bhutan in 2018. So perhaps you can share a little bit on the target.
Okay, sure, sir. About the target, right, sir? Hello.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay, sir. Can you repeat 1 second, sir?
So on the target itself, so we have here some pictures on the target. Perhaps you can share with us the kind of material the target is made from and what does the color means?
Okay, sir. We have a very beautiful target here. It's made from pine.
I see.
We have to make it from this pine. Why we are making from the pine is like it's very soft. When you hit on the target, we can easily pluck from the target.
I see. All right.
And then the decoration you can see on the target is like we we got the sample, like we are using the rainbow colors to beautify our target, and then like counting of the points.
Yeah.
Like if you hit on the bull sides, then you get 3 points.
Okay.
Okay, then other parts, okay, it's 2 points.
I see. And if you hit the ground around it?
Yeah, the round one is just to beautify the target. But in the center, you can see a white portion that's bullseyes. If you hit on the bullseyes, then you get 3 points.
3 points. Okay.
Yes. The
And
other part is 2 points.
2 points.
And then, yeah, if you are unlucky when you hit on the target and comes out, then you get only 1 point.
Ah, okay, I see. And that's very difficult.
Yes.
I see. That is actually very interesting because here in Malaysia, our target is usually a soft foam where it's very soft.
Yeah.
You know, it goes through sometimes. In Bhutan, they use pine boards like this one.
Yes, we use the pine wood.
I see.
And then I just want to mention we have two different types of targets. For the higher officials and the royal one, if you see the target, on the top of the target, you will see a moon, sun and the moon pictures.
I see.
On the top, yeah. In one of the target, you see the flowers, no, in the top.
Yes.
Yeah. That's for the common people. Whereas if you see a target with the moon and the sun on the top, then that's for the royal and the higher official, maybe for the ministers and all.
Ah, I see. Very, very interesting. Okay, so for these kind of games, you're shooting at 145 meters. And how many arrows do you shoot?
So in the team, we have 11, same as like football. So we have 11. So on the archery ground, we have 22 players.
I see. Okay.
Opposition player.
Ah, so only 1 and 1. That's it.
Yes, we are allowed to shoot only one pair of arrows.
And how many times?
So we make it round. We make it round because we have two targets here, one other and one is another. So you shoot a pair of arrow and then you walk to next target and you shoot from that side. So you make it round.
I see. And then
yes. So you start your game by 8 o'clock morning till 5 o'clock. So you make it round and round till 5 o'clock.
Wow. And that is so many kilometers of walking because it's 145 one way, then you shoot another 145. Yeah. So that makes
145 till 5 o'clock.
Wow. And so far, in your experience, what is the longest game so far?
That's the normal one, but we start from 8 to 5. Sometimes we go for 6 o'clock if you have a long days.
I see. And then after that, the next day will be a new game, or does the game continue the next day?
Yeah, if it's in tournament, like we go for best of 3.
I see.
If you cannot make it in one day, then we have to continue for next day.
I see.
That's how we play in Bhutanese archery.
That sounds so much fun. And usually like this, how often does the archer hit the target for a standard Bhutanese game? Because if I remember correctly, when we were in Bhutan, the international team lost to the Bhutanese team 21-0.
Yeah. So, Bhutanese, if you are up sure, maybe like you can hit maybe 10, 12. Now the recorded is 13 hits in a day.
Wow. And that is 145 meters, 13 hits a day is the record.
Yeah.
Wow.
13 is recorded. But like in a friendly matches, like we can hit more than 13 also. But in national tournament, it's recorded 13 so far.
I see. Okay. All right. So here is some of the Bhutanese archery culture. So I was quite fortunate to be able to visit your shop, and this was in the competition grounds. So here I have some pictures of you competing in these games as well. And then here is some of the international archers trying to see where the target is. Even in this picture, you can't see where's the target.
Yes.
But what I noticed, what makes it very different for Bhutanese archery game is that if you notice, there are ladies here for our audience. So these ladies here, from what I see, they will either cheer for the archer or they will distract the archer. Maybe you can share a little bit about this.
Okay, I just want to share the few ladies cheering on the ground. Like, if you're in national tournament, if you're in the final.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a few ladies cheering is like, if you're in the final, then your team will have a group of ladies, which is maybe like being organized by the organizer. They will already informed. For example, like you have best of three, right?
Yes, yes.
Best of three, and then like the other team who already got one of game, and then the next also continue, like if you cross 15 of points, it is 25 of sir. You have to you have to like remember, like our game set is 25, sir. So you have already made one game, and then you tuning and reach to 15.
Uh-huh.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, 15. Yeah, then the organizer will call the ladies to cheer both the teams.
Ah, I see. Because like
Yeah, they will cheer the both team to make it the game more interesting, and then like in the final you can see lots of the audience, and then they just want to cheer up their in, uh, with two opponents, right, sir? So that group of ladies will just distract other team, and then when you shoot the other one, they will just cheer up.
I
And
see.
on the other side also, there will be a group of ladies. They will just do the same thing.
I see. I see. That is so much fun, isn't it?
Just to make the audience more like make it interesting.
I see. I see. I see. Because
You
usually
got it, what I'm saying.
yes, yes, yes. Because usually in archery here, maybe in Malaysia or everywhere else, when someone is shooting, everybody is so quiet. But in Bhutan, everybody is
Yes,
cheering and dancing and everything.
Bhutan, like people will just cheer up, and then they will come in a crowd. They will support their team,
I see.
because the like our archery range is very long, and then the people can just stay on the archery line, the side, can cheer up. They can do whatever like they do, just want to cheer up their team.
I see. I see. I see.
Whereas in the other like archeries, their archery range is very short, and then people cannot come into the ground. Maybe like they just go for their individual performance and all. Whereas in the Bhutanese archery, we have very long archery range. People can sit, chit chat. They can just cheer up their teams and all.
I see. I see. So it makes archery into a spectator sport where people watching can also enjoy it and can also feel the excitement.
Yes, exactly. Because like compound bows and maybe like hunting bows, they can hit continuously, no? Because it's like a gun they're shooting. So people, they don't get interest on watching games. Whereas traditional one is very interesting. They Once they hit on the target, then their players will celebrate dancing and all to celebrate when their friends hit on the target, because hitting on the target is very rare.
Yeah.
Once they hit on the target, then they celebrate dancing from both the ends.
I see, I see. So over here I have a picture of some elderly gentlemen when we were doing our practice. When one of them hit, they immediately went into singing and dancing. But what were they singing about?
That's like maybe a folk dances, like the olden songs they celebrate. But there's lots of meanings on the thing also dancing. When you hit on the targets, there is lots of like meaning. And then if opposition hits on the target, there is a meaning that they will just defame other players also.
I
They do what
see.
wrong things. Yes, it's like we have a very good fun on the Archery grounds.
I see, I see, I see. So to summarize our discussion for tonight, so
Yes.
the Bhutanese bow is made from raw bamboo. It is then handcrafted according to the archer's height and the strength. And the string also plays a very important role. It cannot be too thick, it cannot be too thin.
That's exactly that.
All right, and the arrows, it is naturally stiff but light.
Yes.
And
Should be very light.
and the arrow point is also about only 3 grams. This is made from metal. And how do you
Metal, yes.
how is it glued on?
Hello.
Yeah. How do you glue the point?
That's I don't have that idea, but the blacksmith they do that thing. But because I don't have that idea, but like the blacksmith they just glue it. Yes, I don't have that idea, sir.
No, what I mean is when they how do you take the metal?
Hello?
Yeah,
Oh,
hello?
okay, sir. I got it, sir.
Yeah.
The quick fix. Do you remember the quick fix and super glue?
Ah.
We fix with that.
Okay. I see. Understand. But traditionally, how is it done?
Traditionally, like they strike some from the natural trees and all, then they fix it. Some people they use even sugars also in the ancient time.
Very interesting.
Yeah, but that doesn't last long. But for the Chinese, they use sugars and all also to fix the arrow tip.
I see.
When I was a small boy, I saw my parents using that thing. Even they go to the forest, they extract some glues from the trees and then they fix it.
I see. Okay. And basically, that is the main discussion. That we also have the target, and you've also explained that this is more of a team game. The culture itself, the game is in teams, and a full team is 11 people. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Okay, so it's like a football team.
Yes, exactly, football team. Yes, we have 22 games on the ground.
I see. Very nice. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to share a little bit on the thing. When you hit on the target, we get one scarf.
I see.
Yes. To mark that you hit on the target. So at the end of the game, you just count it, how much you hit, and the audience can easily know that how much you have hit on the target.
So the scarf.
Yes. And the rules is like if you hit on the bullseyes, you get 2. And then if you hit both of your arrows in one round, you get 3 scarf. A bonus 1.
I see. I mean,
actually, like yes, actually, like if you hit on the target, you get 1 scarf. But if you hit both of your arrows on the target in one round, then you get 3 scarf, 1 bonus.
I see. So at the end of the day, you don't need score sheets. You just need to count the scarves.
Yes,
Yes, exactly. In just you have.
I see, I see, I see. Okay. So basically those are the main key points of our discussion tonight. So maybe I'm opening it up to some Q&A. There is already some Q&A in the messaging and everything. So
Sure.
first and foremost is that there is a comment from the Malaysian Archery Association, Traditional Archery Association. I'll try to translate this for you.
Sure.
Previously, our games are all very exciting, just like in Bhutan. But nowadays, a lot of our game is very silent, very quiet. So, in this sense, how can you encourage archers to be more exciting or excited about the game?
You mean the international archers or like Bhutanese archers?
International archers, archers in Malaysia.
Oh, okay. Maybe like my views how to improve your archery. Mean
Yeah, how to make it a more interesting activity.
that's maybe like how you earn is it depends on this. In Bhutan, like, archery is our national game, so the government definitely they encourage us. But in Malaysia, I don't know, they maybe like part of your game of out of thousand games. But it depends on the archery enthusiasts sisters who can like organize like more tournaments and more scopes. Like if you like the archers who can participate from the very childhood and maybe like in the futures, like if you do this archery and all, if you have that scope, no, in the future, then probably like archers can definitely participate on that and they take interest on that. But if there is no future scope and all, then the archers, no, like maybe the youth, they doesn't take interest on that. So in
Mm,
Bhutan also, like what I'm planning is like now lots of youth archers are taking interest because like we have lots of national tournaments and then like we side by side we conduct lots of tournaments, quizzes, and then like we even like planning to send them for like schools for coachings and all. If you have that type of uh, scope in future, then definitely like youth and then maybe like the enthusiast archers can participate on that.
I see, I
That's
see.
how, yeah, yeah.
Okay, next question with me. There's two more questions here. How can anybody buy your bows?
To export my bows.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very simple. You can just contact me and then they can send their height measurement and then their poundage, how they're using, and then the weight of their arrows and the length of their arrows. Then I can make the bow for them. So maybe I can make it bow for them. What I
Mm.
need is their height measurement and then the length of their arrow and the weight of their arrow so that I can make bows and then I can export to them.
So that you'll be able to handle the shipping and the payment with to you. So I can
Yes,
basically
yes,
so
yes, yes.
how can we
Exactly.
contact you?
I can give my address because in Bhutan, like I am the only one who make bows and arrows. So if anybody can contact or maybe contact with Bhutanese, they can definitely show my business room. So you can
Ah,
contact me. I can maybe I can give my address also.
sure, sure, sure. So once you've given me the address, I'll publish it on my Eureka
Yes,
Archery
yes,
page, so that if any of
yes, yes,
you
yes, that's the
viewers
one. Yeah,
are watching this, if you're wondering whether you can buy a Bhutanese bow and arrow, so I'll be providing the
yes,
link
sure,
later on. So last question, Mr. Sithar,
sure,
is
sure, sir.
is alcoholic drinks served in Bhutanese archery games?
Yes, that's the another one. People really takes drinks when they play archery, because
Ah.
some of the archers, they are used to with drinks. If they take drinks, they can pull bows and they can hit more also. Yes, yeah. Then like if they don't drink alcohol, the games become very silent, and then and boring for the partners also. And then, for example, like your opponent will be a friend, because our country is very small. We know very well each other, and our friends or opponents, they offer drinks. That becomes a tradition in not like modern also. There is a tradition in the from the very ancestors, when they for playing archery, they take alcohol and then they enjoy.
I see. And what kind of drinks do you drink there? What is it called?
We have the very special drinks here is ara.
Ara.
Local made ara.
In,
Yes, ara.
in the Malay language, arak means alcoholic drinks.
Yes, ara is ara. Yeah.
It's the same
It's
word.
very common and very yeah. People they used to take that one. It's local made one. Now we have lots of drinks, foreign wine.
I see. I see. So that is very interesting. So friends can come together, they drink a few drinks, then they will shoot, and by
Yeah.
6 o'clock they'll get very drunk, I'm sure.
Yes. After your match, then people get drunk. Some people lose their equipment. Sometimes even we have a fight.
I see. I see.
Then it becomes so silent, and you cannot good performance.
Mr. Sithar, I think we are losing you. Your video is being cut off. Are you still there? I think the connection is a little bit unstable.
Hello. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Okay, you can hear us now. There is your video seems to be stuck.
I think my.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we may be experiencing some technical issues here with Mr. Sithar. We'll just give it a few seconds until the line stabilizes a little bit. So, just to quickly summarize the discussion points for today. Are you still there, Mr. Sithar? Okay, I see some movement in the video. But until he comes back onto the discussion, so these are the four main topics that we were discussing: the Bhutanese bow, the Bhutanese arrow, the Bhutanese target, and the Bhutanese archery culture itself. So this one, the last question, if you can still hear us, Mr. Sithar, I hope I got time for a last question. In tournament, how many arrows or ends are we allowed to do? And sighting shoots for 145 meters. So are you still there with us, Mr. Sithar?
We are allowed to shoot only a pair of arrow and then make to.
We are losing your voice. Okay, you're all right now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Okay, now it's better. Now it's better. Just now your video was cut.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, so the last question here before we end the discussion would be
Okay, sir.
how many ends is it usually from the morning till evening?
It's starting from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock.
And usually, how many times do you change sides?
Sites is depend on the round. Like if you hit more on the target, then we take a time for celebrating, dancing, and all. But if you hit less, and then it goes more rounds. And if you hit on the targets more, then it decreases your rounds. That's so depend on the strongness of your team. If you have good archers, then we get less round because we hit more on the target and then we celebrate and it takes times. So we get less round. That's depend on the archers. If you have good archers like professionals archers and all, then you get less round because you hit more on the target. You celebrate.
I see.
You
Okay.
celebrate. You celebrate dancing and all. Then it cuts down your rounds.
I see. Okay. And lastly is that will you be allowed to do some sighting, meaning to try out before you start the tournament?
No, we are not allowed.
Okay.
We are not allowed.
So I hope that that answers all our viewers' questions for tonight.
Yeah.
So perhaps the last words from
hopefully
you.
I have covered all.
Okay, so from the last words from you, Mr. Sithar, if someone wants to learn Bhutanese archery, where can they start?
Like if you want to learn, maybe like we have to go by steps, and we have lots of technical thing like holding of bows, and then knocking off your arrows. We have lots of steps, and then if you want to maybe like learn Bhutanese archery, you can just go to the YouTube and then just see how I am shooting. I have lots of videos in the YouTube, and also you can just browse like Bhutanese archery. You can just type on the YouTube and then you can watch, or you can contact me on Facebook so that I can give you live videos and also.
All right. So that's all for our discussion for tonight. So I would like to thank here Mr. Sithar for being with us tonight. You know, there's so many things that you have been sharing, and you're sharing it very openly. And for me myself, I am a big fan of Bhutanese archery. I think it's a very beautiful culture there, and definitely it is a happiest place for any archer to shoot. I can give you that. So with that, I thank you for your hospitality while I was in Bhutan, and the hospitality of all the Bhutanese organizing team. With that, I hope I can come to Bhutan again, maybe in the future.
Okay, sure. You're welcome. And then it's my pleasure inviting me here. And then like I have not covered fully, but to my knowledge, I have shared all my points that I have experienced till now. So hopefully, like in future, I can go more details on Bhutanese archery, and like even you can log into Facebook and YouTube also. I can give you a live video on Bhutanese archers and the learners too.
I see. So that will be something very interesting for us to explore in the future. And these are the things that it is made possible through the technology of internet and live streaming. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us tonight. Here I have Mr. Sithar. His links will be available on the Eureka Archery Facebook. I've also tagged his Facebook there. So if you have any questions, if you'd like to order his bow, or you want to ask him any question, feel free to do so. So I think for that, that is all for our discussion tonight. I would like to thank you again, Mr. Sithar. Thank you very much for taking time to be with us tonight.
Bye-bye.
All right,
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We are Eureka Archery, and here we have Mr. Sithar. And for all else, be an archer today.